Hello, everybody. This is Marty O'Donnell. I'm a composer. I've been a composer for a very long time. I started back on TV doing TV commercials. You might have heard Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, and Flintstones Vitamins. And I wrote the music for Halo, 5 different Halos back in the Bungie days. And today we're going to listen to some tracks from Halo 1, which are 21 years ago. There it is. That's the big reveal. This is when you come through the door on the Halo level and you see in the Warthog the back half of Halo. One of the interesting things about this piece for me is that I was basically all by myself when I was doing it, and I was a little bit desperate. My partner, Mike Salvatore, was back in Chicago. I had a bunch of different pieces I had to write and different pieces I had to put together for different marketing things. And of course, we started this in 1999, so there's some tracks that were actually recorded in Chicago in 1999. This is the percussion from the very first track we did for Macworld 1999. And this is without the monks singing, but we'll get to the monks at the end. These are the string players that we recorded in Chicago, 4 strings. And that's me singing. I didn't want to sing. I wanted somebody else to do that because I thought it was kind of a crazy part. I didn't know what I wanted it to be. And when I did it as a sample to the singer, he just said, yeah, you should just do it. So I did it. And I also thought, well, I should probably just delete it because it's too weird. But apparently people like it, so it's still in there. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's just random gibberish. And then a year later, we did another piece starting in here as a transition, and we glued these 2 pieces together. And this was for E3 2000, where we had a much longer presentation. And this is a new, believe it or not, different string players, different studio. Not only is this used in Halo 1 Combat Evolved, but a version of this was done in Halo 3, especially at the end of the Halo 3 Warthog run, which ends the entire series of the Master Chief in Halo for Bungie. Brings back memories. I don't remember the last time I listened to this whole thing. So this is me and 4 of my Jingle Buddy friends and from Chicago singing. Singing the monk chant. These are the same guys who sang on Mr. Clean for me. So that gives you, I mean, that piece alone, Truth and Reconciliation, gives you almost the entire history of my and Mike's approach to the Halo series. The only other tidbit I didn't talk about was that I actually wrote the monk melody while I was in the car on the way to the studio. Once again, sort of desperate last minute. Okay, I got to have something. How about monks? Here's the melody. Go. I wrote this piece called Undercover of Night because, once again, this is when I was by myself in Seattle, and I was still working with Mike Salvatore, my partner back in Chicago, and I needed another piece that was the kind of piece Mike would write. So this is something Mike would do too. He would say, what would Marty do? And then he would write a piece, and I would say, wait, I should have written that piece. But on this one, I decided, what would Mike do? An atmospheric groove piece with cool drums. And it was fun to have this play in a couple of its significant spots in Halo 1. One is on the level Truth and Reconciliation, and it starts just after you snipe the first alien as you come around this corner. And of course, the other thing was Mike usually did a lot of the percussion and the drumming. And so this is me doing drumming coming up here. Phil Collins snare. And just a simple repeaty sound that goes back and forth stereo. I needed something that just would sort of help you move through nighttime missions. And then I wanted a voice. So that's me singing again by myself. I would never be able to do this in front of people. I remember when I gave this to the game designer whose level it was used in, he put it in the level, and at one point, a year later, he came to me and he said, boy, I spent so much time listening to that piece, and I just love that chick singer. And I said, Paul, that was me. And he looked crushed. He looked crushed when he realized it was me singing. True story, true story. Now, the reason I can sing along with the Maw is that this entire choir is just me by myself, I think at 2 o'clock in the morning at the studio, desperately realizing I needed one more choral piece for Halo 1. So I came up with this. At this moment in time, I didn't have a microphone inside the recording where my keyboard was. So I first laid down a bunch of fake vocals, and then I would hit record, run into the recording booth, sing one part, come back, hit stop. And I did that over and over again until I had all the vocals on. I put as much reverb on it as I can. Make it sound better. Otherwise, it's just my voice. And if you were to listen to just the tracks by themselves with no reverb, you'd say, yeah, you can't ship that. That's horrible. So, the amazing thing about actually being there at the beginning for creating the Halo soundtrack, both Mike and myself just felt like this was a great opportunity to do something that would probably go away in a year or two. So to see it still be loved 20, 21 years later and into the future is an amazing privilege that you don't get more than once or twice maybe in your lifetime.